Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the second opening session of European Emerging Industries Conference 2014. Welcome, you all. Welcome to the audience on the internet. We are in streaming on the website of Regione Lombardia, and we are in streaming on the website of the conference. So thank you very much for coming. Did you enjoy your evening yesterday? Hope so. We had a wonderful dinner and a great visit to this beautiful building of Regione Lombardia at floor 39. So we enjoyed Milan in the evening, and I hope you all will come back for Expo next year. It will be a great opportunity to visit again Milan and Italy, and we will be really so happy to have you again next year in Milan. So we will open now our proceedings. Yesterday we learned that emerging industries are really an engine of growth, and we know that Europe really needs growth. So we know that now that we can discuss policies, the right policies, to have a good framework for action in order to support emerging industries and let them create new jobs and new prosperity for our continent. So today we will discuss national policies, regional policies, which are important as well, and European policies. And we will do that throughout 2 sessions in the morning. Now we will talk about national and regional policy actions, and then we will talk again about European policies actions. So now today at this first panel, I greet Paolo Landoni of the Scientific Committee of the Lombardy region and co-director of the Master in Open Innovation and Knowledge Transfer of Politecnico di Milano. We greet also Armando De Crinito. He will talk about policy strategy and support measures in Lombardy, and he is Deputy General Manager at the Lombardy Region Directorate for Enterprise, Research and Innovation. And we have the pleasure to have here by Portugal, Mr. José Carlos Caldeira Pinto de Souza, and he will talk about the example of the Vanguard Initiative regions. And he is also representative of the Vanguard Initiative, and he will tell us what yesterday happened here in Milan. It's a great success, I think, of the conference, the Vanguard conference, which was held in Milan yesterday. And he is also president of the Agência Nacional de Inovação of Portugal. So we greet them all, we thank you, and we can now opening your presentation, and Paolo Landoni is going to the podium first. Thank you. So we will explore how policy support measures at national and regional level in Europe can support emerging industries. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see this line here. Can you? Sorry. I see slides here, but don't see there. But I can start. Yeah. No? I can, but. And when the Lombardy region asked me to think about innovation policies for emerging industry, I was puzzled. I didn't know where to start because, of course, this is a challenge to think about new policies, especially for a topic that is already, let's say, well explored in innovation policy. So my first idea was to think about new industries and to focus on them and to explore them and to understand which kind of policies I could have think about for this new industry. So for instance, I talk about 3D printing and virtual currencies like Bitcoins and so on. But then I thought maybe something more general could be useful. So I first of all started to think about what are emerging industry. I need to understand better what they are. Of course, we have an idea, but what they really are. And then I focused on other trends in innovation systems, which are other trends that are developing. So my idea was, if we want to create new policies, what we can do is to understand what we want to promote, so the emerging industry, and try to combine with some new trends. That was my idea, the rationale behind my thinking. And so this is what I'm going to present you, my ideas regarding existing trends, and I will focus on open innovation, that I think will be one of the most interesting ones to connect with emerging industry. I will start talking about what are emerging industry, in my opinion, and I will end proposing some new policies combining these two. So, what are emerging industries? Emerging industries are the intersection, of course, of a unit of analysis and a temporal interval. What does it mean? It means that we focus on industry and industrial sector, and this is already one point we could discuss. I will not do this, but we could discuss what is an industry or industrial sector. But to simplify, let's think about a group of firms using similar technologies and or products. So this is an industry. So emerging industries are industries and emerging. So we are focusing on a temporal interval, and we are saying that they are industries in an early stage of development. And what does it mean, emerging stage of development? This is something we can discuss further. So when does an emerging industry start? Many authors, of course, identify the beginning of an emerging industry in the concrete manifestation of new products, new services. But others think that the emerging industry starts from existing industries, existing technology, existing firms that develop new knowledge inside this old industry, and then this knowledge create new industries. So this is not so clear. And also about the end of an emerging industry. When does an emerging industry end? Some authors say it ends when this industry begins to grow. And this could be reasonable. But others say, no, the emergent phase ends when this industry reach a point that some calls maturity, some other calls legitimation, some other stability. So again, we have no clear ideas also about when an emerging industry ends. And then, how long do they last? How long are they? But the idea could be to measure them. So some studies have tried to understand how long they are, and some found emerging industry that lasted 2 years, but others think about industry that are still emerging and that last more than 50 years. And some industry do not even reach the maturity or legitimacy stage. They are emerging, so they are growing, they are beginning, they are new, but then they disappear. They do not reach maturity. So this is another point of attention. And then, which firms create emerging industry? Some things, of course, about new firms, de novo entrants, and this is frequently the case, but sometimes the alio entrants are important. So firms that already had a presence in another market, and they create this new market developing new technology. So again, we cannot say that they are just new firms. Sometimes they are old firms, and sometimes are both these kind of firms together. And why do these emerging industry emerge? Well, the idea is that firms try to focus on technologies that are already available, on which they can create economies of scale, in which they can leverage on the knowledge created by others. So they try to focus and cluster in these technologies, and so to create industries. But of course, if you create something new, if you create new technologies and you are among the first to introduce these new technologies, you can have a competitive advantage. So the idea is to try to develop these new technologies, to be the first, and then others will join us. And that's how emerging industries create. In the beginning, you are just alone, you are the innovator, you are creating the new technologies, then others follow you, and then an industry is born. Okay, sorry for this introduction, but I will take this point with me discussing the policy. So we have seen that emerging industries are not so easy to define, or rather, we can define it, but they are not so easy to evaluate. And then I told you I tried to understand which other trends are present in innovation system. And I find one that I think could be interesting for what we are discussing here together. And this new trend is open innovation. I'm sure you heard about it. The idea is to combine internal and external ideas and internal and external paths to market to advance development of new technologies. What does it mean? It means that there has been a change, a significant change in the last years. Firms have learned that it's not always possible to rely on secrecy. You can see here the boundaries of the firm are closed, and firms develop their own projects by themselves, so self-sustainable approach. While recently, firms have understood that they can leverage ideas from others, support from others, and they can also commercialize their own ideas through different paths with others, selling their technologies, and so on. So, who is involved in open innovation approaches? Firms can involve a number of different subjects, from suppliers, clients, design firms, engineering firms, and also, of course, research centers and universities. And in the past, these relationships were mainly one-to-one, and again, secrecy and contracts, and we focused on what we were doing. Only the two of us, or maybe the three, the four of us, is more consortium. But recently, as you know, information and communication technologies are allowing firms to involve also crowds of users in innovation projects, and so you have seen open source projects and crowdsourcing initiatives and the like. And also, firms are increasingly looking at other firms, competing with them to develop new technologies. This is one case that is very famous, the case of Xerox Research and Development Center that developed a lot of technologies, for instance, the graphical user interface that you can see in the picture, and then they didn't use it because it was not coherent with their printer business. And others, and you probably know Apple, used this technology and introduced this technology, creating a new industry, and the personal computer industry that was not well developed at the time. So how can we put these things together? My idea was that as you understood already, we can create new policies for emerging industries, leveraging the open innovation approach. And why is that? Because the idea is that it's very difficult to identify emerging industries. We talked about the start of an emerging industry, we talked about the end of an emerging industry. It's very difficult to understand when it starts, when it ends, which kind of firms are involved. So I don't think it is the most promising way for policymakers to try to understand which are the right one. Also because some of them will not mature at all. It's not easy to identify the pioneers. And it's also difficult to understand the difference between emerging industries and emerging technologies. I don't have time to discuss this, but of course there are many overlaps between emerging industry and emerging technologies, and even understanding which are the most promising technologies is not easy. So instead of trying to foresight the best industry and best technologies, what I think could be interesting, or what could be interesting besides supporting emerging industry that are already identified, could be to give increasing importance to open innovation in existing industries, to leverage the connection between different industries, different firms, and to promote these collaborations. So I have three simple proposals to be more specific. First of all, policymakers can promote mobility and radical open innovation projects, and this by combining both existing and new firms. As we have seen, they are important, both new and existing firms, so policymakers could try to leverage the connection between them, can try to leverage the connection between different industries, and also mobility of researchers, mobilities of engineers between firms. This has been proved to be very useful to create new knowledge. And then, sorry, I came from university, so I really am in favor of research centers university, but I think it's really important not to forget this policy. This is, of course, not so new, but sometimes we forget that research centers in university can create new knowledge. That's their mission. And this can lead to a new and stronger emerging industry. And so, again, we should promote the collaboration with existing firms and support both for research centers and universities and this collaborative project between firms, innovation platform, crowdfunding platform, crowdsourcing platform that can leverage this connection, as the Lombardy region is doing in these months. And finally, and this is maybe something a little bit more new, I think we have to lower the barrier to pioneers. Being a pioneer in this emerging industry can be very difficult, can be very risky, and so one of the ideas could be to help emerging industry pioneers if they are in trouble, and there are many studies saying that the majority of them do not manage to create a new industry, or better, maybe they manage to create the new industries, but then, you know, the second mouse get the cheese. The second firms, the third firms get the benefit instead of the first one. So one of the things that regions can do is to promote support action for these struggling firms and entrepreneurs, and help them being reintegrated into universities or other firms, not to waste their talent and their potential. And maybe they will create another field, and this one more successful. I don't know that if you know that Walt Disney and even Bill Gates created firms that failed before the successful one. So, to conclude, there are many information, technologies, opportunities, so I don't think policymakers should try to identify the best one. This is up to entrepreneurs. But what they can do is to help them meet together and see different things and create new knowledge. So what we can have to do is to support them and support the ones that have vision. And this is what happened when, as I told you, Steve Jobs met the researcher of Xerox and learned about the graphical user interface. Thank you very much.